What's up, cash flowers? All right, so I just wrapped up a coaching session with a guy that is making huge headway in changing how he thinks about money. I'm gonna give you a very simple illustration that shows you how he's making life-changing progress by way of how he's approaching building a business without using any of his own money, therefore not taking out the risk that would be there if you were investing your own money. You're using other people's money and other people's knowledge in order to achieve what are going to end up being life-changing results. This is very easy for anybody to understand. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you want me to keep showing you formulas like this. Also, jot down bnbbootcamp at vipfinancialeducation.com. Going to be a very important email for this video. Now, this individual, I'm going to use 4 categories here. The first is the debt weapon category. If you don't know what debt weapons are, tune into this channel, make sure you subscribe and start looking at all the videos we've created surrounding these very, very exciting tools. These tools help us basically create infinite amounts of cash flow. We just keep building more and more and more and stacking it. Now, we're gonna create another category here called loans. This is how much money is being borrowed in order for this person to create life-changing wealth into their household. Residual amounts of income that are at least 500% better than where they started, and doing so in a small fraction of the time you probably think it's gonna take. So I'm gonna get to that. That's what we're gonna walk through. In a short video, by the way, just stay with me to the end here. We've got months, okay? Let's track how long it takes. And finally, this is cash flow, the most important number. Now, when we met, this coaching member of ours had $1,000 of net cash flow, a little over about $1,000 and change. 1,060, I believe, is the total. 1,059 in leftover cash flow. Okay, so we're gonna call it 1,000. Everything I do is gonna be rounded to the nearest conservative number. So we're gonna keep this very, very generous by way of being conservative. Very first step, we got access to a $20,000 unsecured revolving personal line of credit, PLOC. Operates a lot like a home equity line of credit, but it's unsecured. It relies on credit scores. Usually you need at least a 700 to get access to that. They immediately borrowed $8,000 from that PLOC and invested into Michael and Katrina's BNB Bootcamp coaching. Now, I met Michael and Katrina randomly on Facebook. They blew my mind with the results that they'd accomplished in just 2 short years. They've built $1 million business. They did so completely organically with no experience. And now they're showing other people how to do it much more quickly. So if you ever thought, hey, this is impossible to have $1 million business, it takes all this money to make money, I'm about to prove to you that it doesn't, and you can. So they spent $8,000 on Michael and Katrina's discounted coaching membership. Now, normally they charge $12,000. They instead are giving us a price break currently. They were only going to do this until 2020. We've convinced them to extend it. They're extending it right now indefinitely. So from $12,000 to $8,000, it's a huge discount, obviously. It may or may not be there when you reach out. So urgency is to some extent there, okay? All you have to lose right now is time. $8,000 was the cost of the coaching. That's now a loan from the $20,000 off of that line of credit, okay? They then, 3 months later, were able to acquire their first property. What Michael and Katrina do is this very advanced form of short-term rental arbitrage where without having to own any of the real estate, they're working with willing homeowners to actually operate sort of the management piece behind their short-term rental business, and then they split the profits with the homeowner. They don't have to buy all the furniture. They're not in charge of the mortgage. They don't handle the repairs. It's genius. I'll throw a link to the interview that I did with them in the description so that you guys can see exactly how they're pulling this off. It is, in my opinion, a revolutionary way of creating a business with very, very little risk and literally none of your own money. So they're gonna take, after 3 months, a conservative amount of $10,000 more off of this PLOC, totaling $18,000, and they're going to have their first property ready to go on the market and rent out to short-term tenants. The conservative profit for this partnership is $1,000 in favor of this coaching member, which means the homeowner is also getting at least $1,000. So in this case, this bumps their net cash flow position from where they started at $1,000 to double that, now $2,000. We start to rent check park this against the $18,000, and after just 4 months, we're now paid back down to just $10,000 or half of that PLOC being used. We've paid off $8,000. Now we're gonna go ahead and call that 4.5 to account for the interest costs that are associated with this PLOC, even though that's far too conservative. I'd rather be far too conservative during this example. Now we're back down to a $10,000 balance on this PLOC, which means we can use another $10,000, totaling back to $20,000, but acquiring their second cash flowing property. Okay, again, they're not owning the homes, they're partnering with the homeowner. You can learn all about that at bnbbootcamp at vipfinancialeducation.com. They give you a free consultation. If you're not a good fit, they disqualify you. If you are a good fit, you guys can make tremendous amounts of money. Now, the $1,000 after just 2 properties means they don't have to deal with a mortgage. It's short-term risk, which means that if anything happens via COVID or another unexpected situation, worldwide global problem takes place, you're not left holding the bag. I wish I would have done my short-term rental property like that. Unfortunately, I'm sitting in a property that cost me $250,000 out of pocket. I could have easily done 20 of these based on these price tags, okay? We now have a $20,000 sum, but we have $3,000 in cash flow, which means this is paid back again in about 3.5 months. I'm gonna round it up to 4 so that we remain conservative, and that's paid back down to just $10,000. And now we can do it again, where we acquire third property, totaled with the original $1,000 cash flow makes it now $4,000, and we could pay that $20,000 sum back down to 10 in just 2.5 months if it were a 0% interest rate on this. Now it's not 0%, it's not gonna take another full half a month, but we're gonna call it 3 months instead of 2.5. Now let's do the total here, right? We've got 8.5, 11, 14.5. Okay? And we've paid this back down to 10K. We wash, rinse, and repeat this process. I'm sure you're getting the drift. It bumps that number back up by another $1,000, but the total on this PLOC is now 20 grand. Credit scores are fluctuating during this process. As you're paying the balance down, scores are going up. As the balance is coming back up, scores are going back down. Does not matter. I'm not concerned with the fluctuation of credit scores in this situation. We already have access to the tool we want. So we're now at $5,000 worth of net cash flow. The $20,000 is paid in half again, $10,000 being paid off with $5,000 in cash flow in roughly 2 months. We're gonna call that 2.5 months. And as you can see, we're now at 17 months or less than 1.5 years where that is now paid down in half, and we can acquire, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, their 5th property, increasing their cash flow by $5,000, now making it $6,000 versus $1,000, a 600% improvement, and we were able to do that in less than 1.5 years. How life-changing would it be for you if you were able to increase your cash flow by another $5,000 per month? Doing it all without any of your own money and doing it all without any of your own knowledge. Let people like Michael and Katrina fast-track you. Let their mistakes help you avoid your own mistakes. Paying the $8,000 for coaching was a no-brainer in this situation, and it would be for you as well if you followed through. If you remain consistent, meaning you have the discipline, you have the courage, and you're consistent about it, you've got to be patient. This is not going to feel fast. 18 months doesn't feel fast when you're in the middle of it. It only feels fast when you get to the end. So reach out, get your free consultation, bnbbootcamp at vipfinancialeducation.com, and start getting your life-changing results today. We look forward to seeing you on our next video, guys. Most important than anything, stay healthy and keep on cash flowing. Talk to you soon.